Hey everyone, and welcome back to a new video. So I have bought a new car. If anyone follows me on TikTok and Instagram, which is also Clueless Car Guy, people will know what this new car is. But as some of you know, I wrote off my Fiesta ST. Now I actually really liked that car. It was a real shame to write it off. It's my first sort of bad accident. But I got a payout of £8,000 and I kind of used that money for something else. I actually used a tiny percentage of that money, and we'll get into how much this car cost me, obviously what it is. We'll go over all of it, all the modifications, and what I think about it, because I've had it for a couple of weeks now. So let's go take a look at it. It is the most hated Honda Civic Type R, the fn2. Now I bought this from my friend. Actually, he used to own it. He lived up in Swindon and then he moved away to America, and it's kind of just been sat there. So I was really in need of a car, and this was the quickest car I could get. So it was a rushed buy, but obviously I knew where it came from, I knew the history of it, and yeah, and now it's here, now it's mine. Now there's a few things that are a bit shabby with it, not in the greatest condition. I'll show you those now. So the main thing is the paintwork. Now if you can see here, it's really scratched. The paintwork all over is really bad. If you come to here, there was a load of chips and one had started to rust, so I'd basically sanded it down, painted over it, and now I'm going to T-cut it because obviously it's a bit blotchy. I'm going to T-cut it down and hopefully that will look all right. But yeah, the car's a bit ropey. I also had two worn front tyres which I had to change, but honestly, other than that, in terms of suspension, engine and everything, it's all spot on. And I know there's some common rust on these cars, the rear subframe being a big one. It has already been replaced. My mate had his rust through. He then replaced the whole back for I think a cost of around £2,000. So at least I know that will be okay. I am going to go rust hunting on this car at some point, because I'm sure there's some somewhere. Now, I actually wasn't a massive fan of how these cars looked, but the look is kind of growing on me, and this car is on spacers, it's lowered, which does mean I get awful catching on the under tray, which is a little bit annoying, and on hard turning, hard cornering, I get some rub on the wheels as well. Now obviously under the bonnet you've got a 2-litre VTEC naturally aspirated engine, and I just want to say this engine is awesome. So I have driven this car around quite a lot, and putting it into VTEC, really revving it out, and the sound it makes, I'll start it up in a second, really does give a thrill of its own. Also, as you can see here, it's got these bars, which it has 3. There's one in the back seats and there's one in the boot as well. Map on this car makes the VTEC kick in at about 4,500 RPM instead of the normal 5,500 RPM. And honestly, it doesn't really feel that flat before the VTEC. Yeah, and overall it drives really nice. The only thing I would say is it's extremely stiff. That's the thing I've noticed. It handles well. I'd say the Fiesta ST was a lot lighter, right? So the Fiesta ST handled really well because you could really chuck it about. However, this car, you can't chuck it about so much. You do feel it being a bit heavier, but it also feels a lot flatter, a lot more kind of planted, and has a real spaceship feel to it. And that's added to with the inside. So let's have a look at the inside of this car. So the interior of this car is just, I don't know, it's a spaceship basically. These Type R seats are awesome. They feel really nice. We come in here, you really do just look like you're in a spaceship, and you kind of get, I'll start this up now so you'll hear it. You kind of get the heads up display as well. I think is that called a heads up display? I'm not sure. It sounds really good. Get all of this up here. It's very futuristic for a 2009 car, because that's what it is. This car didn't come with the LSD, which I think you do kind of notice on hard cornering as well. Comes with Android Auto. Obviously it doesn't come with that for a factory, but my mate had put Android Auto in, and a really good sound system that was put in before my friend got this car. What's really cool is that I actually had the previous owner to my friend reach out to me because he had seen my video, which meant I got a lot of history from his ownership, which I think was 90,000 to 100,000 miles. and he did a lot of work like valve clearances, lots of servicing, stuff like that, which is really good to know. The exhaust is just a back box delete, and it does sound really good. When it's come off cold start, I will rev it a little bit and we can have a listen to it. My only thing I don't like about this car is just the fact that it feels a bit slow. I think coming from turboed cars and like a lot of tuned cars, the naturally aspirated can feel a little bit gutless, but honestly it also feels very responsive, and it also just gives its own sort of thrills higher in the RPM. We're now off cold start, so let's give it a bit of a rev. Yeah, it does sound really good, and that's honestly the best part of this car, is just revving it out as high as possible. And it's that, yeah, it's a different kind of thrill. So yeah, how much should I pay for this car? Because I feel like that's what people are wondering. So 115,000 miles, 2009, as I said. Obviously the overall condition isn't great, but mainly just down to the paintwork. But I paid £3,000 for this car, which I don't think is bad at all. Especially considering the paintwork was quite a lot worse when I first got it, but I managed to T-cut some of the scratches out. But yeah, I'm quite happy with it. And honestly, I was saying on my TikTok that I'm kind of quite obsessed with getting the most excitement out of cars for the least amount of money. That's essentially why I only spent £3,000 on this car. Put some more money into savings, and yeah, I'm happy with that decision, to be honest. I could have spent £8,000 on another car, although I was finding it quite hard to even find a car. But I think I'll stick with this for a little while. It's cool to try something new, something naturally aspirated. Obviously VTEC, legendary engines. The only problem is everyone's going to say it's the worst Type R. But the good thing about that is there's really cheap ones to be had, because the EP3s tend to be a lot more money now. For a good example, I did look at EP3s and I could not find any decent ones. They were all in terrible condition for the price I wanted to pay. So yeah, let me know what you think about this car. I know it was split decisions a bit, split opinions, sorry. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Don't forget to follow me, subscribe here, and follow me on Instagram and TikTok at the same name. Cheers.